Now we know how to create pages and page templates. It's time to start doing some serious development. So the first thing we want to do is we want to include our style sheet, our custom style sheet into our theme. Remember when we include, if we went into functions.php, we include Bootstrap and we also include jQuery and the Bootstrap JavaScript. But what we want to do now is we want to include our own style sheet. Now we could include our style.css, but it's, in my opinion, better to keep that clean. And we just create another style sheet which will be the control of our styles of our theme. So let's go into our CSS folder and create a new file, and let's just call that main.css. Okay, and keep that open. And then what we want to do is we'll go into our functions.php and we will copy this. Now make sure that you paste your custom style sheet, which is our main.css, the one that you're going to be doing all your design stuff with, after any other style sheets, because you want your styles to override those if you ever needed to. Okay, so that's very, very important. Otherwise you'll have Bootstrap styles overriding your own styles. Now I've copied the Bootstrap registration and in queuing. Let's change Bootstrap to main.css. So the first thing we want to do in Sublime Text, if you select there, for example, and then you keep your finger on the control button and you select the other places, you can do it all at once. So let's do that, main, and we also have to remove .min. Okay, so there we go. Now we're linking to our .main.css within the CSS folder. So let's go back and refresh. And if we look at our code, we should see that main.css is now there and it works. And it also is after bootstrap.min.css. Awesome. Okay. So now let's do a bit of tidying up with our theme. We'll go into our header.php, and as you can see, this, or as you know, this is actually being shared by all of our templates. So the front page.php is using the get header, page is using get header. So they're all showing that specific header. Let's add in some tags. Let's create header, and let's go into main.css now. And let's style that. So I'm going to be using CSS for this series. I'm not going to use Sass. However, I might create another video showing you how to use Sass. If you don't know what Sass is, it's just an easier way to code in CSS. It's like a shortcut. And in my opinion, it's so much better than CSS. Sass will automatically be then compiled into CSS to be displayed on your website. But anyway, let's style the header. So we'll do header, and let's just do background. And we'll do 111, which is like a dark, not black, but not exactly black, but quite dark. Then we'll do width 100%. We'll do height 100 pixels, and we'll save that. And now let's refresh. Now what I'm going to do also is I'm going to take away this admin bar. So I'm going to go edit my profile and just do not show the admin bar, because I think it kind of looks, and it's annoying. And we'll go back to our homepage, and there we go. We have a bar there, which is 100 pixels, and it is obviously responsive, so it automatically fits to the screen. And then we have also on our front page, we have a container. So I'm going to do a wrapping around that container. I'm just going to do section. And what I'll do is I'll just give it a class of page wrap. And then we'll go into our main.css and we will do page wrap, and we'll do a padding of 2 rem high top to bottom and then 0 left to right. So then if we refresh, our content is kind of sent down a bit. So there's a bit of padding between the header and the content. And now that we have our header, let's create a navigational menu. Now, navigational menus are the core of any website. If there's no navigational menu, no one's going to know where to go on your website. There's going to be no links. And to do that in WordPress, WordPress has its own menus functionality. So let's go or menu management section. So when we go into our dashboard, if we go to appearance, there should be something here that says menus, but there isn't. Because we have created the theme from scratch, we need to tell WordPress, I want to use menus, so give me that functionality. So to do that, let's just go back into our functions.php, which is kind of like the brain of our theme. And let's tell WordPress that we want to do that. So let's comment this. We'll just do load style sheets. Then here we'll do load JavaScript. And then here I'm going to do one called theme options. And under there, we are going to do add theme support, which is a WordPress function. And then we just put menus, okay? Now that we've done that, if we refresh our theme and we go to appearance, you should now see menus there. Now let's go into menus. And as you can see here, we can create a menu. And then once we create the menu, so I'm just going to call it top bar. And then we will do create menu. Now that we have a menu called top bar, we can add any pages that we've created into our menu. So let's just add these 3 pages. And you can drag the pages to the order you want them in, and we can save that. Obviously, if we go back to our theme and we refresh, our menu will not show up because we need to tell WordPress in our theme that we want that particular menu to be there. Now, you could just paste in a piece of code that will hard code this menu called top bar into the top of the theme, but you don't want to do that. You want to be able to have full control over where you have your menus. So what we do is we create theme locations. We would firstly create a location. We can then put a hook in our theme which says this is the top bar location, for example. And then when we create a menu, we assign it to that location or multiple locations. So then we have control over wherever we put our menus. Okay, so the first thing we want to do is we want to go and create a theme location. Sorry, a menu location. So to do that, you guessed it, we go to the functions.php and let's create something called menus, okay? That's just to comment it so we keep everything organized. And then what we want to do is we want to do register nav menus, which is another function which tells WordPress we want to register some menus. And inside there, we want to do, we'll just close this as well. Want to do an array, and within that array we want to do some more arrays. So the first one would be top menu. Actually, it's not another array, it's just some arguments within there. Top menu, I'm going to call it top menu, you can call it whatever you'd like. And then we can just call it top menu. Okay, so this is the ID of the menu and this is just the visual name of the menu. So I'm going to call it top menu location, and that will just be called top menu. Okay, close that off. And then we'll also create one called mobile menu for later down the track when we create a mobile menu. Okay, so now we have a top menu location and a mobile menu location. Now what we have to do is obviously assign the location to that specific part of our website. So let's go into our header.php, and inside the header tags that we created earlier, we are going to do php wp nav underscore menu, and inside there, we'll just close the tag as well. Inside there, we're going to do an array, and then we will do within that array the following arguments. Theme location, and we want it to refer to the theme location we created, which is top menu. So let's paste that there. Actually, we need to put it in inverted commas, and that's it. So now we've created this location. If we go back into our theme and look at our menus and refresh, because we created, oh, okay, we've got an error. So let's go to number 52 on functions.php. And what have I done here? Could it possibly be that I've just, maybe I shouldn't have put that there. Yeah, so that semicolon needed to be removed. So now if we refresh, you see we have 2 locations, our top menu location and our mobile menu location. I'm going to assign it to our top menu location. And because this menu is now assigned to this location and the location is being told to display up here, if we refresh, another error on number 26. So let's have a look and see what I've done. Yeah, same error. Yeah, so I'll save that, refresh, and our menu now comes up there. It's unstyled, it doesn't look great at all, but it still comes up. So let's go into our header.php and let's just make this a bit smaller because it's taking up too much room. And let's put it within a Bootstrap container. Oops. And we'll refresh and now it will be centered. Then we want to do a bit of styling on this. So you can actually assign a class to your menus. This array actually takes quite a few options. One of the options would be that instead of using a theme location, I'll just comment that out, you can actually do menu and assign it exactly to that menu name. So we called it top bar. Let's just assign it to top bar and then hit refresh. And you'll notice that it still comes up because now we're just hard coding that menu in there, which probably isn't the best way to do it, but you still can. Okay, so we'll just comment that out and we will bring back the theme location. You can also assign a menu class. So you can do menu class and we'll just call it top bar. And then if we go and refresh our code and look at the source code, let's have a look at our menu. Where's our menu? Okay, our menu is here. You'll notice that it's called top bar, and that's the unordered list is called top bar. So now that we've called it top bar, we can actually go into our main style sheet and we could do something like this. Header.topbar, and we could say we don't want it to be list style type will be none because we don't want the bullets to be there. So let's refresh it. The bullets are gone now. We can also do margin 0 and padding 0. And let's refresh that now. Now it's centered. And then the links within there, we don't want them to be on top of each other. We want them to be side by side. So we could do header.topbar li, so the list item, and we'll make the top bar, we'll take that away, sorry. We'll make the top bar display flex. And that's going to grab all the items within the unordered list and put them right next to each other. We'll refresh that. Now they're right next to each other. Before Flexbox came out, you had to do float left and all that sort of stuff, and it was just painful. But now it's really, really easy. So now that we have the links are there, they're side by side, but they're really close together. So we can do header.topbar li, and then we can do a as well, so that it targets the anchor tag or the link. And then we'll do padding 1 rem. Actually, we'll do padding 0 1 rem, which means that it's going to just do the left and the right side 1 rem. And we'll maybe do 0.25 at the top. And then if we refresh, you should see that they're separated now. However, you might not want the first link to be padded to the left, and you might not want the right link, the last link to be. So what you can do is you can do header, top bar, li first, I believe it is. I've been doing Sass for so long. So first child, and then a. So it's going to target the first link within the first child li list item, padding, and we can just do padding left 0. So then refresh that. There we go. And do the same with the right one. So it would be top bar last child a and padding right 0. Cool. And then we can just maybe give a bit of color to the links, maybe color or make them white. And then we can maybe center the menu within our header. So we can use Flexbox for that as well. So the surrounding container is the header, and then within there we have container. And then we have another one called menu top bar container. So we want to target header.container. We'll do header.container, and then we will do display flex, justify content center, align items center. Now what that is going to do is it's going to grab this menu, put it right in the middle of the screen, and then right in the middle here as well. Okay, so it's right in the middle there, but it's not assigning to the center, or aligning to the center of the screen. And I'm just trying to figure out why that's the case. So the container is still, it's not 100%. So we need to just do container height is 100%. I think I'm going a slightly bit off topic here, but if we refresh, there we go. We've got a centered menu now, and we have our links that are working, so they're dynamically generated to go between each page. And I'm just going to add that page wrap to our page.php, and also to our template contact us.php. So it's all the same. Cool. So now all the pages are working, as you can see. Now, what about submenus? What about if you have a menu which has multiple levels? So let's just say you wanted to create another page. Let's create a page called Our Team, and we'll publish that. And then we'll go back to our menus, and we want to add Our Team to the drop down. Let's just go Our Team, select it, and you'll see that it gets added to the bottom of the menu. So now we just have to drag it up to About Us. But as you can see, it indents, and you can actually do indents on indents on indents. You could have 50 menus if you wanted to. It's probably not practical, but you could do that. So if I did that and indented it underneath our About Us and save the menu, if we refresh, you should see that now, because it's not styled, you'll have another bulleted list underneath About Us. If we right click on that, you should see in the code that it creates another unordered list called Submenu, which is within a link, a list item. Okay, so what we want to do is we want to target that so that it doesn't actually show unless we highlight over that link. So to do that, we can do header, top bar, li, and then submenu display equals none. Okay, so we'll refresh that. You'll see that now the drop down menu doesn't come up. And then you want to show it if it highlights over About Us, but you don't want it to Thanks guys for the comments, I appreciate it. If you highlight over this, you don't want it to show to actually show a submenu unless there is a submenu. So if we look at the code again, you'll see that WordPress automatically injects classes into the list items, and if it has a submenu, it will actually inject a class called menu item has children. So we'll grab that class and we'll go back here and we'll do header, top bar, menu item has children, and then we want to do submenu display block. So now it's going to, it's displaying it straight away. We only wanted to do it on hover. So what we do is we do hover. There we go. So we hover over About Us and it shows Our Team underneath there. Now we don't want it to show like that. We want it to be like a pop-up. So we could easily make the submenu, we could give it a position of absolute, top 0, left 0, background, we'll give it a white background, and we'll just do like box shadow 10 pixels, 1 pixel, 1 pixel, 10 pixel, RGBA 0, 0, 0, 0, 1. Sorry, I know I'm kind of going a bit too fast, but basically what that is, it's going to give it a shadow around the box, and it's also going to just make it a light, transparent, dark black almost. We'll refresh it, and you should see now when we highlight over it, on the left-hand side, the drop downs coming up. That's a bit weird. We don't want that to happen. We want it to come up underneath About Us. So to do that, it needs to know that it needs to pop up relative to where About Us is. So then what we do is we go into, we have to create another class called header top bar li. So we're targeting the list item itself, and then we're going to do position relative. And guys and girls, now you know why I like using Sass, because there's way too much typing here involved. So we'll save that. So now that it's relative, we'll refresh it, and you should see now the drop down comes up right on top of About Us. We don't want that either. So we then need to go to our submenu and do top equals 100%. That is going to make sure that it only comes up top, but just underneath 100% of where the About Us menu is. So let's refresh it and do that. Now it comes up and we can view it, but we can't even see the text. So let's fix that up. Let's do margin 0, padding 0, and we'll do list style type none. That is targeting the submenu drop down. Okay. There you go. Now it still doesn't look that good. So let's do a width of 300 pixels. And within the submenu, we want to target the actual links there. So let's do .submenu, and then we'll do A, which is targets the anchor link within the submenu. And we'll do color is black. For example, I will do red. Refresh. There we go. Okay, still not amazing. We want to then maybe give the link some padding. We'll give it a padding of 0.25 rem. Maybe we'll center the text and we'll refresh it. And nothing happened there for some reason. So why did that not happen? Submenu A, color red, padding, text align, center. That should work. Maybe I didn't save it. Okay, so it's still not doing what I wanted to. And that is because I need to give the link a display of block. It's an inline item if I don't. So I refresh it and there we go. Then let's just do some other things. Text decoration, none. And then we can just like copy this class and do at hover background black. Oh, sorry, color black. So when you highlight over the link, it will turn black. Yeah, we probably don't need this submenu to be so wide. So we could say make it 200 pixels. And yeah, so maybe give the submenu a border radius maybe of 0.5 rem. Refresh it. Okay, still doesn't look absolutely fantastic, but you know, I guess you can style it however you'd like to. So now if we go into WordPress and we add more pages underneath there, we can easily see the items come up on our menu. There we go. Okay, so you'll notice that it's coming up on, the text on the website is actually coming up on top of our drop-down menu. So that means we need to give the submenu something called a Z index. And we'll just do, we want it to be always on top. So maybe do 999. Refresh it. And now it's on top. Okay, so with that being said, you can do layers and layers of this. So let's try and do another layer. Let's grab that, put that in there, and maybe put it underneath the About Us there as well. I know it's getting a bit confusing with all the menu links, but hopefully you're still following. Let's refresh it now, and you should see now that we have, it's looking a bit strange. We have home About Us. Wait, what's going on here? I've removed some of the links, the other links. Okay, let's just save that. Okay, Yeah, we've got 3 home links. Don't worry too much about that. But when you go to About Us, you see the first level, and then you've got a second level, but that second level is doing kind of the same thing the first level did, and it's not displaying in the correct area. So what we want to do, go back to our CSS, and we want to target the second submenu. So to do that, we will do header, top bar, menu item has children. And then we want to, actually, no, we won't do that. We will do submenu. And after the submenu is another li. And then we'll do submenu again. And that will be the second level submenu. So that means that we'll do left equals 100%. And then if we refresh that, you'll notice that it comes up like that, but still not the best. So we can do top 0. There we go. But it seems as if when I highlight over About Us, it's actually highlighting the second level is coming up as well. It shouldn't be. It should only come up when we highlight that one. So that's where I've kind of used styles which apply to both of the levels, which is a bit silly of me to do. So what I will need to do is on the hover, we need to make it so that it only targets the submenu we want to show when we highlight a link. It's getting very complex now, probably not how I wanted it to go, but maybe it's good that you see how this is done. So when you build your own navigational menu, you know how complex it can get. So the first thing we're going to want to do is go and kind of make this so this display block of the submenu only shows when we highlight the first level. So to do that, we have to do top bar and then an arrow, which basically says I only want to target the first level, okay, and then I only want to target the first level of the submenu as well. So there we go. Now it's not displaying. Now we need to tell it that when it highlights over this one, we want it to show the other submenu. So to do that, we will need to do something like header.topbar, and then we will do the arrow again. It's going to target the first level of the menu item has children. Okay, and then actually no, we won't do a hover there. Then we will do, actually, we'll just do submenu. So we're going to target the first submenu, and then within the first submenu, we want to target the first li within there, and then we want to target the second submenu. And then with, actually the second submenu will be just called menu item as children as well, because as you can see, when you highlight this and you go into the second level, it uses the same sort of style. So current page item, current menu item has, where are we? Menu item has children there. So no matter how many levels you have, they'll always have these classes in them. Okay, so top bar, targeting the first menu. Within that first menu, we're targeting any list item, and then within there, we're targeting the menu item that has children, and then we're going to do display block after we do .submenu as well. Refresh that. And it's not working. So what have I done wrong here? Okay, I finally worked it out. So I'm just going to delete that and I'm going to paste this. And this is what works. So header will target the top bar, and then within the top bar we want to target any items that have children, and then we want to target their submenus. And then within their submenus we want to target any of the items that have children. When you hover over those items, we want it to then to display block of the submenu. Okay, so we'll save that and we will refresh. Okay, so first level, second level, there you go. Okay, so this video kind of went off track. That was kind of like a CSS lesson and not a really good one. But it does, I guess, show you how you can make that happen in WordPress. And I'm sure a lot of you people are probably better at CSS than I am, and I use Sass most of the time. So CSS is kind of going back to about 2 years for me. So with that being said, that is how you do navigational menus. Now, just to recap, when we do a navigational menu, we create a theme location, and you can create multiple theme locations. So let's just go and grab this. Let's take header and go into our footer template, paste it in there and do footer. And we're going to create a theme location called footer menu, and we will just call the menu class footer bar. Okay, now let's go into our functions.php and create a new location. I'm just going to copy the mobile menu one, and we will call it footer menu, and we'll call it footer menu location. So this is the ID, that's important. This is just the visual, what you see. Let's go into our menus, refresh, and we have footer menu location as well. So we've created this top bar. Really, we can create a footer menu. We can assign it to the footer location if we want to. Hit save, go back into our theme, refresh. There's our footer location menu, and you might want to style it differently. So you would then target the style, which is called footer-bar. So you can do it as many times as you'd like. You can also create new menus by creating a new menu, and we can just call it footer menu. And you could do it that way as well. If you had a different footer menu, you create the footer menu, you attach it to the footer menu location. And if we do that, I believe it's going to take away the top bar and replace it. So we'll do save menu, and as you can see now, if we go to our top bar, you'll see that it's being taken by our footer menu. So you can't have multiple menus assigned to one location, you can only have one. Okay, so that's navigational menus for you. If you want to see any other options that you can get in navigational menus, just go to the WordPress Developer Handbook, and it will explain to you all of the things that you can do in there. So, and it's this link here. Okay, you can see all the options you can use. I'll see you in the next video. Cheers.